So what I'm going to do today is to give you a case study that isn't from dating. As you mentioned, I've spoken at iDate and worked with eHarmony, but my experience is broad-based from running a conversion rate optimization agency for 20 years. We created about 1.2 billion in value from the Googles and Siemens of the world, Nestle's on down. So I'm hoping that everyone here can do the translation as I go through this case study. It does apply very much to dating sites because I'm guessing many of you have several different plans or offers. So this is primarily about how to influence the unconscious mind to take better advantage of your offers. In other words, to increase the effectiveness of your offer page. But you will have to do a little bit of, like I said, translation in order to do that because the industry it's from is a little different. The industry is actually satellite TV, Dish. Some of you in the US have heard of this. So this is in outlying areas where you can't get cable, satellite TV. So you can get 5 different packages from Dish. And this is the page that we are optimizing. And then I'm going to very quickly show you the page that we ended up with at the end of the process. But what I'm going to do today is something that I'll get kicked out of the Magicians Union for. I'm going to give you the reveal. I'm going to tell you how we did it. I'm going to break it down into several neuromarketing principles that are based on our evolutionary psychology, and you can widely apply this to all of your work, not just your websites or online offers, but as ways to think about how to persuade people. The first principle I want to talk about is context and choice. There's really nothing absolute in the world. I call this Tim's theory of relativity. People just compare things that are going on in their environment. What's going on? What are my choices? What's the current context? For example, if you're a man dying of thirst crawling through the desert, any sign of water, any little tiny plant shoot will be of interest to you. On the other hand, if you're sitting on the banks of a river, the water is not that interesting. So in the same way, we're just attuned to our particular survival goals and our current environment. So I'll show you the choices that were made, or rather were presented by Dish on their original page. As you can see, there are 5 plans. So this is the original offer set. And many of us have multiple plans. So one question you need to ask yourself is, do I need all of them? Not necessarily. Did you know that people's short-term memory can only hold 4 objects at a time? You've probably noticed, as odd as some of the UK phone numbers are to us in the US, that they're clusters, but the clusters are always 2 to 3 to 4 digits apiece. It's never more than 4 because our brains can't keep more than 4 choices in mind at the same time. So how many were on that last page I showed you? There were 5. That's too many. So one of the things you can do, for example, is to minimize it, to cut down the choice. As you can see here, we've taken 3 packages, different price points, but they're still in low to high order. Another psychological principle that we can do is to flip that. And if I say to you 1 pound, 2 pounds, 500 pounds, you're going to go, whoa, 500 pounds, that's outrageously expensive. But that's just because of the sequencing I did. I started with 1, then went 2 to 500. What if I reversed that and said the following to you? 500 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound. Wow, that 1 pound all of a sudden became much more accessible and much less painful. So are you willing to pay the 1 pound? Absolutely, because compared to 500 pounds, it's the difference between pushing a rock up the hill or just letting gravity do its thing and roll it down the hill. So one of the things you can do is flip the order and go from high to low. Other things you can do to manipulate that is actually both shift the offer set and flip the order. So there's lots you can do here. And what we chose to do on our winning page, I'll just highlight this, is you can see across the top, we have 3 choices there, not 5 any longer, because 5 is information overload and can't easily be consumed by people. So here's some of the things you should think about. Limiting the choice to less than 4, or 4 or less rather, focusing on the most popular plans, and there's no need to list all of your options. Or there's no need to give them equal visual weight, which is something else we'll talk about. So you could have your 3 most likely plans, and then the other ones are hidden under a small text link and they're not visually prominent. Remember, no one says you have to play fair. The goal here is to make money. I think we can all agree on that, being in this group. All right, let's talk about a very important additional evolutionary principle, and that's loss aversion. We're very sensitized to losses, to threats to our survival, to pain. In fact, that's about 2 times as powerful as pleasure seeking. So I'm going to assume some of you like ice cream. Let's just say pick your favorite flavor of ice cream, and here, I'll give you a bowl of it, except I'm going to hit you with a hammer on your hand on the way in before you get to eat it. I don't think I get too many takers for that one. And that's because pleasure is great, but pain avoidance got all of your relatives, all of your ancestors here today. So it's really, really important to understand that we want to avoid pain more than we want pleasure. There was a famous experiment with pizza toppings in the behavioral economics literature. Imagine you had a pizza, just a cheese pizza, it's for $5, and you could add for $1 5 additional topics, topping out at $10 for the. Now that's one possibility. The other is to start with a fully loaded pizza with all 5 toppings on it, and then have you remove a topping for $1 a piece. And what they found when they tried these 2 different scenarios is that by far the higher average order value was starting with the fully loaded pizza. Is the psychology is different. You go, oh, this pizza is great. Yeah, I guess I'm not that big a fan of pepperoni, but yeah, I could save $1, but then I'd lose the taste of the pepperoni. You see how that loss psychology is very, very deeply ingrained in us. And so that's what we did in our presentation by showing the different TV channels that were included in the packages. And so the one on the left that you can see here has the most channels, and we always put the most prominent ones on top. And so people are saying, oh, if I step down from this package to this package, I'm losing stuff. I'm losing channels. I kind of like this channel and I don't want to lose it. Oh, if I step down to this one, I've lost even more channels. So we're doing 2 things here. We're playing on brand affinity by showing the brands of the channels. We're also talking about loss, though. And look at how many pictures are in this one, and they're fewer. So there's already a physical loss by the way that we're presenting the badges. So some things to think about in your business is anchor with the most expensive price first. Look, I don't give a shit if everybody does bronze, silver, gold. You should be doing the opposite if you want to make more money. And then show, in our case, we showed the clear decrease in the number of channels and put the most prestigious ones on top. All right, well, we've talked about the amount of choice, but I want to talk about risk and how our brain evaluates choice. One of the things that we know from evolutionary psychology is the brain likes obvious choices. No-brainers, that's another word for an obvious choice. You don't have to think about it with the conscious mind, literally. So there's a famous study that was done with people that are subscribing to The Economist, which, by the way, is a fantastic publication. And you had 3 choices. You had the online, a print only, or a combination of the 2 as a bundle. And this was the pricing for an annual subscription. Now, as you can probably see from these choices, I want to just do a quick poll. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Which one do you want? 1, 2, or 3, going from left to right? Which one would you get? Throw it in there, quick. Put it in the chat, 1, 2, or 3. All right. The bundle is you get both the print and the online, or you can get them separately. Okay, well, we have surprisingly a lot of 3s, but quite a few 1s, which tells me you guys are cheapskates. But in fact, this is what happened when we tried to do this. Or not we, rather, when this test was run. 84% of people chose the bundle. 16% chose the low price digital only. There were no idiots in the room that took the middle package, just like there are no idiots in this room. I told you you guys were smart. But why did so many people, 84%, choose that bundled package? And by the way, this is an older experiment. So yeah, Maria, your little crack about no one reads magazines. It's true. I use them to line my kitty litter pans. But regardless, the point is, when this was a good deal, and it may no longer be, Everybody went for the bundle. You know why? Because it was simple. People understand simple choices. And again, you'd have to be a moron to take print only when for the same price, you can get the bundle. So people were evaluating it with the automated subconscious part of the brain. There really wasn't much decision involved. It would take a force of will to consider this outlier, this print only, or sorry, the digital only package that was significantly lower. So what happened was, you're probably thinking, Tim, why do you need that middle package? That's stupid. Only an idiot would take that. And again, we saw no idiots in that choice set. But here's the problem. When you take out the middle package, all of a sudden, it's a different choice. Now you're thinking exactly like Maria and saying, I don't read that print thing except for 5 minutes in the bathroom once a day. So of course I'm going to get it digital because I can get it on my phone or on my computer. I'm not going to pay double the price in order to just have something to throw in the recycling bin. And that's a very different choice architecture. So if you want to implode your business, in this case, making this the offer set would have lowered your revenue per subscriber by 30%. The point wasn't having a rational choice. The point was having an irrational choice that you could use to decoy people's attention. So this is exactly what we did. There was a price that was running, a special on one of the packages. It made the highest cost one for a limited time the same price as the middle package, and it's another no-brainer choice. So we took advantage of the identical price special offer to make the brain make that automatic determination. But pricing presentation is also very important. If I'm going to ask you a quick question, just again, reply one or two. Which is the smaller price? Quick, ready, set, go. One or two. Which is the smaller price? Yeah, you guys are thinking about it. You shouldn't have to think about it. It's kind of obvious. Oh, there's geniuses that are saying equal, haha, the same. You know, it's not the same because I saw the pause before you guys responded. You let your rational brain kind of marinate in the decision and say they're the same. But you know what? Your physical brain, the one that's used to living in the world and eliminate and evaluating things like high, low, big, small, light, dark, says one's smaller than the other, even though they're the same. So one of the things that you can do is actually manipulate price presentation. And you see this all the time in the retail physical environment, but make use of much smaller fonts. Make the non-significant digits after the main currency smaller in the case of this, the cents. The price symbol itself, the dollar sign or the pound sign or the euro, whatever it is, should be smaller as well, because that triggers overlapping areas in our brain that are wired to physical pain. When we see a dollar sign, we see a loss of survival resources. That's what it means to our brain. So it physically maps to the same parts of the brain as pain. If you can, if it makes sense for your context and it's obvious that it's a price, remove the currency symbol altogether. All right, let's talk about one final area that's very powerful, and that's visual biasing. Half of our brain is designed for processing visual information. And it's a very active process. You have about 10 times as many neurons going from the brain to control the eyes than you do coming back and processing the incoming visual information. So we can't avoid visual biasing. And so this is some of the things that we did, as you can see here. First position in the list for this, the one we wanted them to pick, wider column, taller column. We have the different background color, which is also unique on the page. Chevron that says best value in the upper right corner. And it's a unique appearance for that column. So there's more visual interest also because we have more channel pictures here than we do in the other stripped down packages. So we combine all of that. And now I'm going to show you the effect of the trick. So the big reveal, the prestige, if you will. I'm going to show you the two pages side by side, and you can see them. Now, hopefully you'll agree that this wasn't too tough to do. We just refined it in a number of ways from a evolutionary psychology perspective. Here's all of the changes that we made that I just went over with you. So what was the effect of this? I want you to guess the percentage increase, same audience, the percentage increase in revenue per subscriber. Go ahead and put that in the chat. All right, we got a little bit of divergence there. Everything from 21% to doubling. Okay, well, I'm sorry to say it was only a 60% increase. Folks, we didn't change their business model. We changed a web page. 60% higher revenue per subscriber. So what I want you to take away from this is that it's really, we talk about the technology and, retargeting and Twitter this, and tomorrow will be hologram suppositories or some technological fix, but it's not about the technology. It's about the evolutionary psychology. So if you want to have a durable career in marketing and growth hacking or whatever you want to call it, you have to understand what you're trying to influence, and that's the human brain.